you have.
Jason got old.
that ship already fucking sailed. Hi everybody, this is Jason.
And this is Pete.
And this is the Lost Legions podcast. And today, Pete and I are going to take you, along with some special friends, into our 5 top hot takes on melee weapon changes for 2.0.
It's going to be exciting.
I took Pete's breath away with that.
You really did, yeah.
So Pete, what brought this up and why are we talking about this?
We just wanted to talk about really the main changes with a lot of these weapons, like going through. Because we had a game, didn't we, a couple of days ago? Yeah. We started talking about, God, these have changed, this has done this, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, you know what? We should talk about that on the show. So that's exactly why we're doing it.
So I think we should bring in two of the sexiest men on the planet
to
help us talk about this. Our good friends, and Pete is going to introduce them.
We have Will on the bottom left. Whacker Will, the Destroyer of Worlds.
The Destroyer.
And Sir Destroyer to you. And we have, thanks for joining us, Will. We have Ian Parker, full name, for no reason.
Doesn't he have some sort of moniker? Like, Ian, what's your moniker? What do you like, because we got Wacka Will.
Oh, I don't know, big hands.
Just his name.
Someone says Wreck-It Ralph.
Hold the hand up to the camera, Ian, like.
I don't think this is...
Not next to your head, like right in front, like, it's this big.
Shall I put mine for scale?
I mean, yeah, exactly, like, look, it's actually quite something. It can roll 100 d6s.
Today, Ian, his ginormous hands, and Will are joining us, and we are going to start going through our hot takes. So this is the list that Pete and I have kind of put together. Ian and Will don't know what they are, so we'll get the reactions to it, and at the very end, what we're going to do is find out, have we missed anything? Is there anything that they are, are these complete bullshit? Yeah, let's see what they think, and see if they have anything to add to it. Okay, so for our, and this is not in any specific order, guys. It's just 5 of the most changed and good weapons that we could think of, and some for different reasons. But the first one I have to mention is the Thunder Hammer, and it is amazing now. It's just brutal too, man. Like, brutal. What are your thoughts, Pete?
Yeah, it's hugely important now, right? Like, why would you have a Power Fist now when you could have a Thunder Hammer? Really, yep. Having the double wound opportunity. Against anything that isn't like toughness 4 to double it out if you're a Space Marine, right? Makes a huge difference. Has it got a concussive rule as well? I believe it has. That's right, gentlemen.
Concussive is now gone. So.
Oh, it's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, nah. Throw Thunder Hammers in the trash. No longer interested. Next. It's quite an obvious one, really, I guess, right? But you're doubling out. You're doing 2 wounds. So with the abundance of dreadnoughts everywhere, doing 2 wounds instead of 1. Like a Power Fist makes more sense.
So, Pete and Ian, what do you guys think of our take on Thunder Hammers being one of the good new weapons for 2.0?
Yeah, very much so. As Pete was saying, the Brutal 2, with the prevalence of 2 wound Terminators especially, is now fail either save, dead, because it's straight down.
Right. Yeah, good point.
So, hang on. Sorry.
What?
So, if I wound you with said Thunder Hammer, you must take 2 saves.
Yeah.
You roll to hit, roll to wound, and then that wound now turns into that brutal number of saves.
So 2 wounds, so 2 dice are rolled off of that 1 wound.
Wounding roll, yeah.
2 saves.
Oh, I thought it just did 2 wounds.
No, sir.
Oh, so that's huge with doubling out then. Okay.
Yeah,
right, I didn't even realize. Oh, so I thought, you pass the save, you're good. You fail the save, you take 2 wounds. So I thought it doesn't really matter about doubling out T4.
No, now right. if you get hit like by this same Terminator 3 times, it's like 6 saves. Well, if he wounds, right? Like he doesn't roll 1. But yeah, that's like 6 saves and you fail any of those and you are absolute pancake. Like you're just grease on the carpet. So yeah,
those 2 saves, they're only on the 1 model. So
yes, yeah. That's a good point.
You couldn't explode the whole way through a unit. But
I was about to say in our game I got that wrong then, Jay, because it was the first time I used the Thunder Hammer was a couple of days ago against Jay. I was about to say, I did it wrong. I should have been rolling. You should be rolling 6 saves for my 3 wounds my Delegatus caused. But actually, that's not the case.
You mean when he wiped out the unit and then ran them down?
Yeah, but it could be even more glorious, right? Yeah. At initiative 2. Yeah. Anyway.
So cool. So we all kind of agree on Thunderhammers. That is good. Now this is going to be maybe a bit of. I'm actually hoping for contention on this one, but this is one of mine personal ones. I think the Humble Chainsword is amazing in 2.0.
Yeah.
Because it has shred. Oh, wait. So let's jump.
Excited.
I want to jump to Ian first because he had the obvious negative reaction. Ian, why do you not think the Humble Chainsword is good with shred?
I see your chainsword for its humble beginnings, and I raise you the lightning claw.
What does that have to do with the chainsword? That is not. That is not. Sorry for playing. You are not. This is not the way the conversation goes. That is a different hot take. This is just the chainsword.
So chainsword's good. You're getting the 2 attacks on your 1 attack. Fat Marine, cool. But you're also spending 5 points.
Yeah.
No thanks. Or your veteran.
No, that's fine.
5 points, right?
I think that's
And then I have my veteran, and it's like, you can either give him a lightning claw for 5 points or a chainsword for 2 points. But the lightning claw is always better, always better. Oh, and it has shred as well.
Okay.
What's even the game?
That makes sense.
What about you, Pete?
What about like Assault Marines though, right? They're now
getting
more
them
killy.
for free.
Yeah.
Getting them for free, yes. Chainsword is fine.
Well, like an apothecary is quite handy, right? Yeah.
Interesting. So. Yeah.
I think chainswords are cool. I think it's just nice that basic weapons have extra rules. I think that's cool.
I rate them because I've run with a lot of chainswords, and I see the difference in the amount of wounds that they shift having shred, and like 4 up to wound is, like sometimes it can be kind of swingy, but with shred, like you're definitely putting wounds on those units.
Yeah.
So I mean, I am impressed. Like you said, I think that there's a discussion to be had for chainsword over another weapon. Maybe no, but like a lot of units come with chainswords or can get them for cheaper. I mean, now it's 5 points for the basic guy, so it's you argue about, do I take a despoiler? I think this now. Yeah. Opens up maybe a despoiler is a better unit to take than just slapping chainswords on everything for 2 points. Will, sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, I can agree. So I really like that now chain weapons in general just have shred. I think it's brilliant. I think the chain sword, because of now the release of the chain bayonet, in a weird kind of roundabout way, it's better, but it's kind of lost value because of the chain bayonet as well. So the +1 strength and the reroll to wound, the shred on your tactical squads, suddenly I think is a much more viable option than getting the extra attack for 5 points.
Yeah, when you add in a points difference, it's then not worth it.
And with the changes to weapon skill, so you're hitting a lot less now, generally speaking, especially against any sort of proper combat unit.
Yeah.
So getting that, so your 5s to hit, but your rerolls. But you get reroll to wound is kind of to a degree balancing it out, and with chaplains not playing one every time that you play a combat army now, because just how good other consoles are as well. You lose in that like universal like hatred that one unit or even 2 units would always have. Shred from the chainsword and the chain weapons. I think it's really good. I think it's really cool and. Yep. Like what Ian was saying about the lightning claws on the vets, I love just 10 points to have all 5 vets that are weapon skill 5 now, with 3 attacks base, 3s to hit, 4s to wound with rerolls. They can suddenly bully like tactical squads, like really quite hard for not a lot of points. I think I really like that they've given chain swords and chain weapons shred. I think it's really fun.
Overall, you guys think that chain weapons are actually pretty cool now because they have shred in general.
100%.
Yeah. And because they aren't just the same as like the combat weapon that it was in 1.0. It's actually now a weapon that has its own character and has its own role. Yeah. It's really cool. It's good.
I think the push out of shred, on all chain weapons is great. It's a really good move. It's very cool. Because even chain fists Contempted Chain Fist a shred?
I don't remember. I
No,
know regular chain
no,
fists
yeah.
are not, which really, really
Yeah.
bothers me. I really wish that they were.
Yeah, it's just armor bane. So
Yeah.
it's great against dreadnoughts and tanks, but it'd be
Yeah.
nice if they
Yeah.
just got shred as well as just
Yeah, and just throw it in.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, because you don't want to roll that one, so just give it shred.
yeah.
And it says chain. Okay, so I'm gonna move on.
Of course.
And I think this one will make Ian happy. This entry is specifically for Ian. And I believe Pete was the one that actually said this one. This one is Lightning Claws. Pete, how do you? We know how
As good as
Ian.
Cool.
Not as good as chainswords,
so-
they're great.
For 5 points less, you can just have shred, and it's worth it over having the chainsaws, the lightning claws, and EP3, blah blah. Yeah, lightning claws are sick. I've never got to swing one, but on paper they look great. Even though I ran a unit of 10 against Jay, they just got shot at. But yeah, you get what? So Ian's educated me on this. I didn't quite catch it the first time in. We you had sorry, Discord just disrupted me. You get +2 attacks, don't you, if you have a pair of lightning claws? Whereas normally combat weapons gives you +1. So yeah, so basic Terminators have 5 attacks on the charge. It's insane.
It's,
And they gain rending 6+. So.
Yeah, which is huge, right?
so they're hurting the Leviathans, which is the key.
Yeah, I think the Rending 6+ is like the thing that you always wanted, because in 1.0 you had the Raven Talon ones that had Rending, and it felt so good when you were playing them, like to just be like, oh, I can hurt anything, right, on a 6, and I have Shred, so I have more of a chance to get that 6. It was fun, it was exciting, and now you have that +1 extra attack with a pair, because you always were like, well, why do I take a pair of these things? Like, what is it giving me? And then, like, yeah, that +1, it's just beautiful. Chef's kiss on Lightning Claws.
You used to lose your gun, like on Terminators, it was 15 points, and you lose your gun.
Yeah.
And now it's like, 10 points, and +2 attack. Sick,
Yeah.
brilliant.
Beautiful.
But the Lightning Claws, if anyone's thinking of running them and they're playing World Eaters, do it. So there's a Warlord trait that gives them an additional +1 on their like Rampager rule or whatever it is.
Right.
So they all just go
Oh my god.
2 attacks base, Lightning Claws, charging, World Eater, Warlord.
No way.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's great. It doesn't do anything. It murders tacticals, which they would have done anyway.
Yeah.
But you're just like, oh, here's 5 dudes, and here's 36 attacks, and you're just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And it's gorgeous.
Quick round robin. How do you feel about 1 Lightning Claw? We all know 2 is sick, but like, how is 1 compared to other options?
I like one.
Yeah, they're cheap.
Yeah.
Relatively.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, it sounds like we have a consensus on Lightning Claws, so I'm going to move on to the next one, and I do not think that this will have any contention in it. Top 5 melee weapons, Dreadnought Power Fist.
The king of all the weapons now.
And why
Finally,
is that?
The Dreadnought has the weapon they have deserved for so many years.
Yeah. So like the Thunderhammer we spoke about before, but 33% better.
Yeah.
Because it's brutal 3, right?
Let's just jack it up.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually, no, wait. Give us strength 9.
Right?
Give us strength 9. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you guys want to hear more about that, you can check out the other video if you missed it about the Dreadnoughts versus Primarchs in the Steel Cage match.
Yeah.
And we talk a lot about brutal power fists in that. But does anyone have any good points or any examples of brutal 3 power fists and how good it is now?
So what I really like about how good it is now is that it's just three armor saves per hit.
Yeah.
But what I think the best thing about this is, which is a weird thing because I think it balances them really well, is that it's just strength 9. It's not strength 10.
Yeah.
It's not double your strength. So when you're just fighting Marine and Marine, yeah, it just crumps. It's brilliant. But as soon as you start going against other tougher things, so like even Vorback, and I imagine going into like Mechanicum as well, you're not just going to be instant killing everything all the time like you are when you're fighting a Marine. There's suddenly going to be like a trade-off of maybe I'll go for a strength 10 chain fist because I might insta-kill something toughness 5. But then you come back to it and you're like, actually, I'd just rather each hit causing...
Actually, I'd rather just still have 9 AP2 wounds on my opponent. Because
Exactly,
why
so-
not? There's no benefit to taking dual Power Fist now, is there? You might as well take Power Fist and Chain Fist, is that right?
One of each,
Yeah. The Chain Fist is good for the Strength 10 when you need it, and the Murderous Strike 5 up, which is quite cool. But yeah, the Gravis Fist for free is just unreal.
Chef's kiss again.
Oh, the biggest.
Okay, so I'm going to move on to the last one, and after that, I'm going to give you guys, our special guest stars, your own slot to put in your own hot take. And here we go. So this one is, and I am expecting some contention on this. Remember, this is the most improved weapons from 2.0. I think, again, the Humble Power Sword is much better now with its Rending 6 up.
Delicious.
Okay.
I think it's truly the king of the humble combat weapon. It's low points. It's free on Terminators. It can go at initiative step. It has the chance to injure something a little bit more tough. It can still destroy anything that's AP free, which predominantly the game is that way around. I think it's great, and it probably looks the best.
It's not the thing you want to fight Terminators with, right? But fighting power armor, yes, it does great, and it has a chance to take out those sergeants. And like Pete said, it goes on initiative steps. So I feel like because it went for something I always avoided. So now me being like not sad if I have a power sword because it does rend, right? So it has a chance to take out the sergeants. And I think partially being an Alpha Legion player from 1.0, it was the dagger that made me kind of see that. Like, and the dagger could take somebody out, like as a surprise. And so I kind of feel like the sword with 4 attacks, like on a sergeant while he's charging, you have a good chance of maybe taking out that Power Fist sergeant before he swings. So like, I just feel like it opens it up. So like, you're not always gonna have to see Power Fist sergeants. You can take a power sword on your sergeant and not be the laughing stock. So what do you guys think?
Go Will.
I like that that these power weapons now have the chance to do something finally.
Yeah.
But I think with the prevalence of now 2 wound characters and 2 up save units in Legion specific units, 2+ save. I just think they are better, but actually in the game they're kind of still the same as they were in 1.0, and the Power Axe and even the Maul now are just both better options in that slot.
It's an irrelevant upgrade, right? It's like, cool, they have rending,
Unfortunately,
and everyone's tougher.
Yeah,
But
so
they can take out armor 13. If you're ever charging a vehicle with rear 13, you can get that rend plus that D3 and get up to 13, which you couldn't normally do.
And you can stab Contemptors and Leviathans because you're always gonna rend on a 6. Like, it doesn't matter.
That's true, and you can do that with a Power Fist as well. But for me, and I imagine Will, as what Will said as well, for me the Power Maul. If you were looking at power weapons,
You feel the Power Maul's better?
I think the Power Sword upgrade is brilliant, but it kind of comes out completely in the wash because it doesn't stick because everything's tougher. But a Power Maul, like, yes, you're probably not going to roll the 6 with the rending of the Power Sword, but you're definitely going to roll a 2 to wound. So that strength 6 Power Maul, just force them to make a save, and then you're hoping they roll that 18% roll a 1, take the win.
I think this is the fundamental difference between you and me. I think I'm just an eternal optimist, so I always think I'm going to roll that 6.
belief is so important when you play. So.
My optimism is you're going to roll better. So I'll make you roll a 1. I don't need to roll a 6.
No, but I agree with you about the Power Mauls. I actually had a special mention about Power Mauls on my notes because I think they're so much better now because they're AP3. There's 2 wounds. You're just going to do a lot of wounds, and you're going to like eviscerate armor 3 with it, right? So yeah, they're really good.
Don't forget militia as well.
It's kind of a shame that the the weapons don't have like secondary fighting stances or something. That would be really cool. So like if a power sword had remained the same as first edition, just AP3, or like you can go two-handed, not gain an additional attack, and maybe go strength 5, rending 6+ or something. Like a heavier swing or something like that. I know this is a wish list thing, but that would be like it'd be really quite deep. Have every weapon have like a different fighting stance, whatever that may look like, right? Would be like a lot of weapons do have that sort of thing, don't they? A lot of specialist stuff can have that sort of idea behind it. Like I'm probably thinking of the Phoenix Guard, to be fair, in particular, but. I'm digging this hole very, very deeply here. But yeah, that would be so much more engaging to have different stances. But alas, I think they've tried to cover that off all in one thing with a lot of these things now. But
with the rending and the breaching.
Yeah, and all these different little things, and it feels nice. Just might be nice to have the options.
Yeah.
Another tactical decision.
What do you think? Do you have any weapons that we left out? Anything that you think is amazing in 2.0 that wasn't mentioned? Ian brought up the Power Maul. Is there anything that you think that we left out?
Yeah, so I think, to reiterate Ian, I think the Power Maul is brilliant. I think that's certainly an up, 100%. I think the Melter Bomb, as like a combat weapon per se, I think deserves a shout out because the prevalence of them have obviously been reduced, but now they're just really, now they're even better against fighting armor, dreadnoughts. They're really, mech coming out now as well soon. I think
why can you just give a quick why they are so good now?
Of course. So it's the same as it was. So it's strength for AP1. You go at initiative 1. But with the weapon skill changes, if you're fighting like armor, you hit on 2s, which is really cool.
I thought it was automatic. It's not automatic hit like the regular crack grenades and stuff.
So crack grenades auto hit, but you still use weapon skill on a melter bomb. But also against dreadnoughts now, it's armor bane and like instant death essentially. So you're 3s to wound, just a basic dreadnought, a contemptor, but you get that reroll for when you inevitably fail to wound, and each unfailed save is just D3 wounds. So putting them on characters, knowing you're going to have to fight dreads now, which are more prevalent, probably isn't a bad thing. Gives you a pretty good chance as well.
Yeah.
I'd also like to honourably Katniss Everdeen, the end of the Paragon Blade.
Thank God.
And how now it is just, it's gone from being the weapon to just being trash, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Wait, why trash? Wait, I don't believe this. Why trash?
So every other weapon's gone up in stature, more or less.
Yeah.
Every other weapon's been made better, refined, improved, whatever. But the
Power
Blade
Fist is the same.
But you always took a power, right?
Yeah.
But the Paragon Blade now hasn't changed at all, and it's just not in keeping with just the time. So the points of it have increased. It's only two units in the game can actually take them. When you get it for free on a champion and your weapon skill 6, it's probably pretty good still. But the fact that it's 30 points on a Praetor, you've lost the ability to buy him just an extra attack for like 10, 15 points or whatever. And with Thunder Hammers being so much better, with Lightning Claws being so much better, suddenly I think it's lost quite a lot of weight. What I'd like to see happen to it is the Murder Strike be improved.
Isn't it Murder Strike 5s and 6s?
6 plus.
Is it 6s?
Yeah, it's still 6.
I thought it was 5s and 6s now. Okay.
So I'd like to see it.
I still think it's good, but I think your point is well taken.
Yeah, it is good, but I just think in relation to everything else, and I think with now just the armory of special weapons that more or less all legions can have, like the World Eaters, cadre weapons, which I don't think I ever played against one in 1.0. Suddenly, every single one's brilliant. The Emperor's Children weapons are really, really cool and really good.
This is a different video.
Yeah. So
there's a reason why we didn't go Legion specific.
So like every other weapon's very much in keep, like it's going forward with how combat's changed and how weapons are changed, and the Paragon Blade is still just lagging. I think it's just lagging behind, like the ancient Terran blades, where there's like very few in existence, but every Praetor has one. Suddenly, it's just I'm like, dare I say, I just won't take it on a Praetor anymore. I'd rather just have a Thunderhammer and probably a Lightning Claw.
Or a Delegatus, right?
That is
Yeah,
Will's
yeah.
hot take on the Paragon Blade, guys.
Yeah.
So
Metal Bombs upvote, Paragon
Yep.
Blade
Yep.
downvote.
any final shout outs on amazing weapons?
Ian, do you have any, Ian?
What, for melee or
Melee.
For melee, yeah.
just melee?
Duelist weapons.
No.
Non-legion specific.
Oh, all
Actually,
of the charnel weapons are
Power
awesome.
Lance is so. Myself and Chris Gibson, we were just messing about writing veteran unit, and we were reading the stats of the power weapons, and the Power Lance is actually cool. So like, it strikes at initiative 5, AP3, gives you the extra attack because it's a normal weapon,
And it's plus 1 strength.
and it's plus 1 strength. Like,
Yeah.
if that was a power sword instead, I'd be fine. And power sword's lost rending. Like, I think that's the sort of upgrade is really cool. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Power Lance, yeah.
I think all the and I think all the charnable weapons as well. They're all now duelist edge as they were before, but they all get like breaching. I think it is breaching or rending 5 or 6 plus.
Yeah, breaching.
Yeah.
So they used to just be. I think they just used to be rending 6 plus, but now it's all been increased, and there's 3 different weapons now. One that has reach, one that has duelist edge. They're all really cool, and they're all really good as well now. They're not. I think they falter at some of the other weapons in the comparison, but they're certainly an option. Which is great.
It's where the Paragon Blade is
So-
the bad taste, right? Because everything else is now all right,
Yeah,
Right.
and that one just stayed the same.
I think what I'm getting from you guys though is the good thing about 2.0 is a lot of the weapons have gotten better, and there's a lot more options and flavor for you to take. It's
yes.
not just my Power Fist Sergeant and
yeah.
my Praetor Blade Praetor.
Exactly,
like-
and power axes on. Yeah, right.
And there's
It
a lot
used-
of
It used to be 3 weapons. Now it's 20 weapons, which is great. So.
Yeah.
well, cool
Welcome
guys.
to learning the rules.
Thank you for joining us on our hot takes on 2.0 weapons, and we will see you again soon.
Thanks for joining. Sayonara.